Hey, this is Andrew Lim inviting you to go out on a limb. Good morning from Bergen, Norway. Yes, I'm finally here. It actually took me a while to get here because I started my trip from Newark yesterday, off to London, and then London to Oslo, and then Oslo, my flight was delayed for a few hours, so finally got to Oslo, from Oslo to Bergen on a 45 minutes flight to get to Bergen, beautiful Bergen. So, and we're gonna walk around, eat around, of course. Appreciate the Norwegian food, the Norwegian cuisine. I'm so excited that you're going to come along with me as we explore Bergen, Norway. Folks, before we start, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notified button for new contents that I upload weekly. Tak. So food in Bergen is mostly Nordic, so fresh, pure and earthy are three things that come to mind when defining Nordic food. And of course, it's seafood focus. So located near the wharf, you find an extension of the indoor seafood market that is in the form of an outdoor food market that's only available in the summer, and it focuses mostly on seafood. So located within a one-street block radius, you'll find stalls with sitting areas offering tasty dishes like seafood paella, fish sandwiches, shrimp sandwiches, and even game meat like elk meat as well as deer meat that Scandinavians enjoy. I went for the good old fish and chips, not too adventurous. Now, adjacent to the food market is the popular fish market. So here, you'll be greeted with giant live crabs and lobsters swimming in tanks as you walk in, as well as a whole shark, a dead one that is, if you are in the mood for one. Now, since the 1200s, the fish market here in Bergen has been a meeting place for merchants and fishermen. You can find fresh fish and seafood, local farm fruit like fruits, berries, and vegetables, and a lot of them in the summer, obviously. There are also several restaurants serving a large selection of seafood here. It is open year-round. So right next to Bergen or Bergen, you find an old restaurant in Bergen called Bger Lof and Stuen restaurant. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, most likely not. There are two levels of dining room here, and I prefer the dining room upstairs that's pretty wide and long with traditional wooden decor. So this 113 years old restaurant serves traditional Norwegian fish and meat dishes, including reindeer, in a historic space with beautiful harbor views. Now I came here for lunch, so the Norwegian shrimp sandwich is a popular lunch choice. Fresh sweet shrimps from the North Sea served on a freshly baked sourdough bread made this a really good Nordic lunch. For dessert, I had this traditional Norwegian dessert with a rather interesting name. It's called Veil Peasant Girls. Now, it is said that the dessert was discovered by Ivar Eisen, who created the second language, a written language in Norway in the middle of the 19th century. He was actually in love with a peasant girl who, kept declining his proposals to marry him, poor guy. So one day he actually asked, or she actually asked him to come over to taste her sweet stuff. And, Eisen, this poor dude, had his hopes up, right? Only to become very disappointed when discovering that she only meant tasting a dessert. So he therefore named this dessert Veil Peasant Girls, and it later became a common dessert all around Norway. So the dessert is based on 3 layers. There is a tangy layer with apple jam, a crunchy layer with Norwegian rust, which is kind of like their granola mixed with flour and salt and sugar, and also a sweet layer with whipped cream. Now, if you want some non-Nordic dishes, you can certainly have them here in Bergen, like the Yos House close to the wharf. The prices here are actually reasonable, and I got this tasty large chicken gyro for only $15. Located about a 10-minute walk from the wharf is an amazing restaurant called Venen. It's a gastro pub offering comfort Norwegian food and beer. For over 15 years, this restaurant has been a tradition server of Norwegian food here in Bergen. Now, to walk into Venen is a bit like entering someone's grandma's living room, I guess. Here, you enjoy classic rustic dishes like fish pie, meatballs, as well as meat stew. Now, the dishes served here are always a nod to Norwegian produce and tradition. I started with some delicious blueberry soda. It's actually not sweet, unlike the soda that we have here back in the States. The starter of the creamy salad with shrimps, crabs, salmon caviar on crispy bread, and herb oil was actually delicious. Now, being Bergen, the weather could be sunny for 1 second and rainy another, which was the view I enjoyed while dining here. For entrees, I went with the delicious fish pie in gratinated form, served with cabbage, carrot salad, as well as some good-looking potatoes. The almond and lemon cake served with whipped cream was a perfect way to end my meal here at Venen. So guys, that was an amazingly delicious Nordic meal. And actually the check came out to be $59 USD. So honestly, they say Norway is expensive. And of course, it's actually not cheap. But a meal like that in New York these days actually costs you more. So apparently Norway is not the most expensive place on earth now. It's New York City. So you can eat really well here in Bergen, especially if you're a fan of Nordic food and seafood dishes.